Hello and welcome to this edition of Dr. Clark Reports. I'm your host, Gary Clark, and my guest is my friend, colleague, and leader at Dillard University, Dr. John Wilson, who's the Dean of Arts and Sciences at Dillard University. Greetings and welcome, my friend.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. Thank you for having me here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you serve as the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences at Dillard University. So would you please tell our viewing audiences the nature of your job and responsibilities as Dean of Arts and Sciences at Dillard University?
Sure. At Dillard, we had an administrative restructuring as well as an academic restructuring. And the administrative component, when it evolved, it was the three colleges. It was the College of General Studies, it was the College of Business, as well as the College of Arts and Sciences. And technically, I am the first dean, the founding dean of the college. But in a prior position at Dillard, I was Dean of Science. That was before the restructuring. So in the College of Arts and Sciences, we have 4 schools. We have the School of Humanities, we have the School of Social Sciences, we have the School of Public Health, and as of November 1, we will have the School of Nursing, as well as the School of STEM, that's Science, Technology, Engineering, Mathematics. So we have these 5 schools. And the intent, and that's my challenge is, and this is per the Provost/Vice President of Academic Affairs, is that we're looking at discipline accreditation across the board. Many of our programs in these schools already have accreditation. What we're doing now is working so that all will have it, or at least meet national standards as accounted in their particular discipline. So we are excited about that. And it's sort of consistent with what I have been doing in another life, and that is program evaluations anyway.
Oh, yes.
So I've done that. I've have had training and background in that, which we can allude to later. But in my postdoctoral experience at Stanford University, which was in science education, the area there of my interest was curriculum and program evaluation. So I'm pulling from that along with my 40 years of teaching, 40 years in higher education, if you please, to advance that. And I'm just excited, and I welcome the appointment from the provost in this new challenge, and that's where we're moving.
Yes, and I like the fact that you do in arts and sciences. You come out of a science background in biology, and when you look at the various units within arts and sciences, which are some of the signature programs that you like there?
Oh,
and I know it's like say which one do you like, but I know
yes,
you have
of course, yes. You know, I don't have a bias, but in terms of our programs, our music program has enjoyed a historical reputation, particularly the Dillard University Choir. It is internationally known and has traveled many of the states in their annual tour. The music program here again is also accredited by the National Music Association. One of the other program, of course, is the programs in science. And in our science program, our students have experienced a very diverse group of professors, but most who will meet our students there and take them to the new goals. So we boast of our successes. Our students have assumed their rightful role in graduate education. They're receiving a PhD. We have many that have received the MD degree, the Doctor of Dental Science degree, as well as Masters of Fine Arts, lawyers, nurses. We just have a group and continue to have a group of stellar students, and this faculty who, as we very well know, faculty is the lifeblood of any institution because they're the one who come and stay. So students just pass through. Some stay a little longer than others, but they're just passing through. and we meet them where they are, and we take them to the next level. And 10 years, 15 years from now, we are seeing some of them come back and express how they were trained and want to thank all the parts that was a participant in this.
I like the concept, meet them where they are. And when you say that, what do you mean?
Well, we know that there is not necessarily equality in all of the school districts that produce our students. We do not apologize that we are historically black college at Dillard University, and that we have, in terms of our founding mission, we was founded by the church, the American Home Missionary Society, as well as United Church of Christ, as well as United Methodist Church. And with that, as we know, Methodist has a method. And the method is that we meet students. Students come to us, some with standardized scores that arguably we have to compete with the Harvards and the Yales for them, because they want great students too, and great minority students. But we also have students that everything suggests that they are good students, but they have not been exposed to various things because their districts from where they come, and it's not necessarily Louisiana restricted, they don't have certain things, i.e. maybe advanced chemistry, maybe calculus, these kinds of things at their high school. Well, they come to Dillard, we have those things, and we see the potential there, and we go there. And we meet them there, we give them whatever support services that they need, and at the end of the day, 4 years later, we're sitting amongst the parents and we reflecting, we know where you started, but look where you are now.
Oh, yes.
And they're redeemed.
Now, and I like the fact that you talk about you meet them where they are, and two things I want you to address. One is student, and the other is the faculty. The prototypical student that you like to bring into the university, because I've gone on recruiting trips before, but when you do the recruiting, what do you want, the kind of person, individual that you want to come into arts and sciences?
Well, what we do is we really do not try to determine the major for the student. We feel that having the diverse core curriculum that we do have, it gives students an opportunity during that first year to sort of rotate through all of the disciplines, if you please. They're required to take music, they're required to take science, but some comes already directed, knowing what they want to do. And when this happens, we have certain support. For example, if you're a student and you're coming into science, and you say you want to be in pre-med, pre-dentistry, or you want to do the PhD, well, we insist that you have a summer tenure at one of our collaboratory schools. We collaborate.
Yes.
And in some cases, students repeat 2 or 3 summers. We have collaboration with several schools, University of Nebraska Medical Center, Omaha, Boston University, where we have a lot of schools. And what happened is that our students spend those summers there, and they do commendable jobs, some in with publications as well. So when it's time for them to graduate, i.e. that's fall of the senior year, they start making these applications to these schools and all of this, and they get in, because that's the edge. We do not ask for any standards or expectation to be lowered. What we want to say is, if our students meet these particular standards that you have established, well, then we want a seat. We demand a seat, because our students have come to you 2 or 3 summers and you know what you're getting. So this is sort of what we do in terms of an intervention and getting students involved. We also have clubs that are basically student-driven by this, but in these clubs they have certain support services that they participate in. They bring in speakers, role models from all walks of life to talk to our students and tell his story or her story about how they got there. And this to me has been a pretty impactful.
Yes, and with respect to the faculty, what you seek out of a faculty member? Someone comes to join the faculty because we have a number of new faculty members who have come in. What do you do when you recruit new faculty? What do you say? This is what the kind of person we want to be on Gentilly Boulevard.
Well, it's important because
yes.
we do not discriminate in our faculty hire. And it is no secret that all are not necessarily from our cultural background. And we have conversations with them, not about this is how we do it, but about things that they may not know about a particular culture. Because here again, our student, we're HBCU, and 90%, 95% of our students are African American. So when faculty come, many have gifts, and I just want to digress. For these last 10 years, I've been excited because I'm saying I believe I'm hiring my replacement, and we're bringing such able young individuals there, enthusiastic, and they want to be a part of this. So we help them understand the Dillard construct, and in terms of what your role is. We don't tell you this is how we do it at Dillard, but we say this is what we produce at Dillard. And your intervention may be the gold standard, so we don't limit that. But we make sure that they, not make sure, but we try to present situations about our culture, the expectations, where the students have come from. Many still are first generation. If I'm not mistaken, Dillard still accept about 60 to 65% of our students are first generation. So the college sophistication, if you please, is not necessarily there, but the potential is just bigger than the room.
Yes, and a number of the students also, the huge population of the students come from Chicago area and California and Houston. And so they come from outside of the state. And we've seen some changes. That's the way it was pre-Katrina. But in this post-Katrina environment, it's still...
Yes, we are getting back,
yes,
in terms of enrollment as well as the diversity of students statewide. One time we boast that we had 42 states represented on the Dillard campus and about 12 countries,
yes,
represented. While we do not experience that right now, but we still have 20 to 30 states there, as well as the international program, and students are there as well. So I believe that we just have an environment that is conducive to learning and educating, and here again, going on to your career. Yes. Going on to
now,
your career.
Under your umbrella as well, you have students as well in arts and sciences that go abroad.
Oh,
and
yes.
You can speak to that because I know that's within your rubric. Yes.
Yes, we have a international program. Right now, we have about 20 students from Brazil. These students are through a collaboration with Dillard University and the Ministry of Education in Brazil. We bring these students here for 2 years. Most spend 2 years because they have been in community, what the equivalents of community college in the University of Brazil. I don't think they call it that in terms of their educational strata, but it's the equivalence of what we would call our community college. However, but stepped up,
yes,
because their college is not necessarily focused on the trade, if you please, but still academia, but it's not their university that the first step. So they come here. Most are interested in, believe it or not, physics and engineering, but come here and master the language, of course, English, because English is a second language to them, as well as they advance in other areas. Some have come and they were in the political science and the criminal justice, the sociology, all of this.
Yes. Now, the challenge that's being presented on your table. I know when you walked into the office and you sat and you say, all right, this is my agenda for the next few years. What do you see as being a primary challenge for you as Dean of Arts and Sciences?
The primary challenge for me is, programs and advancing programs is just not happenstance. Yes. So one, in terms of the deanship, and what I see is, seeking and identifying money for support so that we can support these kinds of activities. We can support these kinds of programs. Our students present They do the summer internships, but they present all over the country. We want to make sure that they are there. We want to make sure they're there, they're on the programs and all of this, and let the country know that Dillard University is indeed in the house.
Oh, yes.
And we do that. We do that routinely. So, and I'm very passionate about it, as you may see.
Oh, yes.
Because I'm passionate about the whole notion of minority students in education. It has maybe a lot to do with from where I came from, relatively impoverished background. But with the support structure and the praying church, if you please, that worked to help me get here.
Now, and I know you mentioned earlier about the accreditation process, and for those individuals who may be watching us and viewing the program, tell them about the nature of the accreditation process and why that is so important on the university level.
Oh, sure.
The accrediting agencies, yes.
Well, the accrediting body is a national organ for whatever discipline you're talking about. And this also is the gold standard too. And one thing about accredited programs, all accredited programs, all programs are equal at that point. Whether you're at some of the most prestigious institutions on the East Coast or some of the most prestigious institutions on the South Coast.
Oh, yes.
The point is that the accreditation standards are the same. So when one meets those, the field is sort of level. So one says, well, I graduated from a accredited program, they will name the agency, whether it's the same one that all the other schools that we consider to be prestigious, they have that too.
So that becomes, that's important and primary. And,
it does.
And that's what you look for. Yes.
I'm sorry, it validates your curriculum. It validates the curriculum which the student was trained, because then individuals who are reviewing you for whatever standards, jobs, admissions to graduate and professional programs, etc., when they know that you were trained in an accredited program, they know exactly what that was.
Now, mentorship. I know that's high on your list.
Oh, it
yes,
absolutely. Role models and mentorships cannot be understated. For some of our students, a doctor has been a person that gives medicine. And I just want to sort of like digress about my mother when I was in studying for the doctoral degree. She was telling her friends, and she, of course, is a fourth grade scholar, said that, he's going to be one of those doctors that don't give medicine. He's one of them doctors. They teach and they talk and all of this. So I'm one of those kinds of doctors, and that sort of is the general. It has been my motivation is that to get students. To see this is how you become this. And that's when we bring many of our alums back. We bring a lot of our alums back to talk to our students because they have similar experience. And now you're a neurosurgeon. Now you are a president of a prestigious college. Now you are the vice president at IBM. Now you are, et cetera. So we bring them back to talk about, well, how did you get there? And they tell his story or her story.
And that is indeed important, when you bring the alums back and have them into the area. And again, I would like to remind my viewers that I'm Gary Clark, and I'm speaking with my friend Dean John Wilson, who's the Dean of Arts and Sciences at Dillard University. And Dr. Wilson, I know you're actually a native of Alabama, Mobile, Alabama to be exact, but will you please tell my viewing audience the John Wilson story?
Oh,
yes,
the
sir.
John Wilson story. I tell you, it dates back to my high school in terms of when I became really interested in the notion of being in science. But my high school, of course, the years in which I was high school was a segregated situation, and
in Mobile.
In Mobile,
Yes.
It was desegregation had not occurred, and it's very much so. But in my high school, which we did not know it, I did not know what all of that meant. We had some of the best teachers in the world. They had master's degree, one or two had doctorates that we just couldn't understand. That doctor too. Why aren't you
Yes.
giving medicine? But we had these kinds of people at our institution, and we had a curriculum there that prepared us. So when I arrived at Clark College in Atlanta, I did not know how well prepared I was. I was able to place into the calculus class. I had no skill courses that I needed to take. And my reading was appropriate, and I did not know how well I was trained. But when I got to Clark College, we still found individuals who found us where we were, and dealt with that, and mentored us. And mentor was not necessarily gender or race restricted.
Yes.
One of my big mentors that was very instrumental in my development, but also in terms of identifying funds for me to do my graduate tenure, was my undergraduate advisor, Dr. Isabella Finkelstein, and you can just deduct, that. But she was very instrumental in this and my success.
Yes, and I know you mentioned we talked about your period in Atlanta. You were there during a period of high racial consciousness during the civil rights struggle in the 60s.
Yes.
In the late 60s, early 70s, yes.
I arrived in Atlanta in the fall of 1968, which was
the height.
The fall in which after Martin Luther King had been assassinated. So Atlanta was explosive in my view, but it also was perhaps even more so because I was a freshman, and this was the first time I had been away from home without my family. And but the exposure, I was going to hear portrait readings and one-act plays, and all of this was not necessarily part of my high school expectation. So I met more notables such as Nina Simone. That's when she had produced To Be Young, Gifted, and Black, and that song just resonated with me. Aisha Rap Brown, Stokely Carmichael, they came to the campus because there was SNCC, the Student Nonviolence Coordinating Committee.
So you could not avoid being involved during that period. You could not run from it.
No. Our friends, my friends, my roommates, we were all involved to a significant degree, but we never lost sight of why we had come there, and we came there to go to college. And that college and the involvement in the, as we would say, the revolution, if you please, were kind of hand in glove, because they said we don't need anybody who's not equipped mentally for the journey. So we had to go, as we would say, get your heavy head by getting your books. And our biggest joke was that, did you get 98 or did you get 100 on the exam? And it was sort of like a very competitive thing amongst us. But it's about school too.
Yes.
It's about school. And I did not know how educated I was becoming because it was just so many opportunities. I worked with the newspaper, and I was in science, and science, we didn't have a whole lot of time, especially with the laboratories being all of them in the afternoon up until 6 o'clock.
I remember having a lab on a Friday from 3 to 5.
It's the dues you had to pay.
Yes.
It's dues you had to pay, and also opting out of certain social events too. I mean, I needed the weekends to study.
Yes.
And that was when it's not that all studying work made Johnny a dull boy. I enjoyed the college experience, but I had certain priorities, and I just never lost sight of that.
Well, let's jump forward. Let's move forward. How do you equate the student of this generation that you are now over, and have responsibility for. So to have them to be involved civically, engaged civically, and to participate politically, and to involve themselves not only in the STEM activities, but also in the citizen activities. How do you stimulate that amongst
one
this
thing
generation?
that I
Yes.
really admire and really appreciate with the Dillard curriculum, the Dillard experience,
Yes.
is that students must do 120 hours of volunteer service work. This service can be community service, or it can be what we call service learning experience, working and doing things in your particular discipline. But this is a requirement of all of our students, and it takes shape different ways. For example, I work with the Minority Health and Health Disparity Research Center. That's another discussion that we can have. However, but the intent of that was getting health and health education to disadvantaged communities.
Yes.
And more in particular, we were focusing on the lower Ninth Ward and getting our students to go down in the lower Ninth Ward post-Katrina to be a part of the renewal and the renovation. It's really exciting there, working in the lower Ninth Ward, because we have many individuals who were great contributors to the success of New Orleans.
Yes.
That were from the lower Ninth Ward, and this hurricane just devastated that community.
Absolutely. Now we have 1 minute remaining.
I'm sorry.
So please tell my viewing audience your vision under your leadership for the arts and sciences at Dillard University.
Well, what we will hope to do is to get all of our programs accredited. If they do not have an accredited situation, they do have standards, national standards. So we want to get all our programs there. So there's no discussion about the training at any place because of this. And while it can be a yeoman's job, I'm undaunted by it. I take it as a challenge, and we will be moving expeditiously in that pursuit.
Oh yes, I want to thank you for joining me.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Clark.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
This is a colleague of mine, and we go back many years,
Oh, yes.
and it has been a lovely working relationship with you as well.
Yeah, I appreciate it, to say the least. And again, I'd like to thank my viewing audience for tuning in. And as always, it's been a pleasure. Yes, sir.